How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a brand new YouTube live stream. Wow. I rarely ever do any of these YouTube live streams, so this is this is definitely something that I'm not super duper familiar and comfortable with, as compared to on Twitch. But yeah, welcome on in, everyone. It is a fantastic, lovely Friday afternoon, almost 4:30 p.m. in my local time zone. But yeah, I wanted to kind of like just announce some things at the very beginning and let you guys know sort of the whole situation right now. So, number one, I am currently using a particular piece of like software, right? A particular application that is utilized for recording and streaming, right? And this application is called Streamlabs, right? Streamlabs Desktop. And the thing about Streamlabs Desktop is that in comparison to the alternative, right? In comparison to something as wonderful as the OBS application for streaming, which I'm pretty sure that like almost every single streamer uses OBS. Streamlabs Desktop is very, very inferior. It is not as good. It is like kind of a lower quality knockoff version of OBS, right? And you guys out there might be wondering, well, why are you using Streamlabs Desktop for this? The main reason why is that when you are using OBS, right, you can basically have it to where your OBS will connect to either your Twitch channel or your YouTube channel, and you can stream, right? If you want to, swap between Twitch to YouTube or YouTube to Twitch on OBS, I don't really know why it works this way, but when you swap to a different streaming platform, through the application, it kind of like resets all of your settings and all of your, saved information and whatever that you have set up, right? So you basically need to, when you swap over from one streaming platform to the other, you have to like redo your entire OBS setup, which I think is ridiculous. And I experienced it at least once, maybe a couple times in the past. It was not fun, and I do not want to ever do it again in the future, right? So because my OBS is currently set to basically function really well with Twitch, and I have my Twitch set up through OBS, I was like, well, I kind of need another, streaming software to utilize for YouTube. So I was like, I guess I'm stuck with Streamlabs Desktop. So I will say, compared to my Twitch live streams, which I personally feel like are a little bit more smooth, a little bit more well done, in my opinion, I think that my YouTube live streams are a little bit scuffed, a little bit like, lower quality. So there's that. But I mean, it doesn't matter as long as the stream works, as long as I'm able to, play the game and stream the game and show it to you guys. I don't really care that much about presentation and whatever. I mean, as long as I get a little tiny amount of choice and options when it comes to presentation, I can work with that, right? So that's announcement number one. Number two, for anyone out there who, has never been in a YouTube live stream and you're not really familiar with how the way that it works, right? Basically, the YouTube live stream, right? When you, basically, when you see the live stream and you see me talking, right? There is actually a, like a 20-second delay between what you are watching, what you're seeing, and, what you are able to type in the YouTube chat. So if there was a viewer out there who writes a message, because let's say that they heard me say something and they write a message. By the time that I read that message that is being written, roughly about 20 to 30 seconds will have passed. And so, whatever I was talking about when you were writing that message very likely is not what is, actively being talked about when I read the message, right? So just be aware that there is a very slight delay between what you're seeing, on the stream and, your messages that you type in the chat. Not really that big of a deal. It's not really that crazy important, but it's good to have that information on hand, right? Okay, and then the last thing that I do want to kind of like talk about and, explain with you guys. So, for those who don't know, a lot of the time, what I like to do is I like to, go and basically I set up a YouTube live stream, right? I set up a live stream that is supposed to be me playing something or doing an activity and then streaming it onto YouTube, right? So I set up this YouTube live stream, and usually what I will do is I will set it to where, in the settings of the live stream, only people who I basically give the link to the live stream to, those are the people that can watch it, right? So it's kind of more of like a private live stream for only people that I want watching to be able to watch it, right? And the reason I do this is that it's not really a live stream. It's more of a way for me to kind of like just sit here, relax, and basically just find a way to record my gameplay without, actually recording the gameplay and storing it onto my computer, onto my hard drive or my SSD, right? Because what happens is I get to essentially record my gameplay by doing a live stream, and then it automatically gets saved onto my YouTube channel, which is really nice. It's very convenient, very efficient. And anyone out there who's, looking for a way to record things without, committing many gigabytes of data on their device to storage, I would recommend that method, right? So what I'm basically going to be doing here, for those who don't know, is I'm going to be playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, right, the DLC, and I'm going to be going through it on New Game Plus 8 difficulty. And basically the way that I'm going to approach this is that I'm going to treat it as if I am doing sort of a, private recording of my gameplay. And, I'm going to chill, I'm going to relax, I'm going to game. If there are any comments in the chat, I will definitely read them out, and I will, respond to them, if they are, questions, for example. But if no one in the chat wants to, socialize and interact and whatever, that's totally okay. I completely get it. People are more than welcome to lurk and watch and just, enjoy the gameplay without needing to, type messages out and whatever. Yeah, so that's basically what I'll treat it as. I'll treat it as if I'm doing sort of a private recording session, and I'm just playing the game, enjoying it, doing my own thing. I will try my very best to add a little bit of commentary, a little bit of narration, as much as I possibly can, to explain things, to, talk about certain content in the DLC. But there may be times where you guys see me kind of like hyper-focusing on the game, and I might be quiet. And if that's the case, that is how it is, right? And it's kind of just me trying to focus on progressing through the game and clearing content, defeating bosses, that sort of a thing. But yeah. One last thing that I do want to do is, for those of you on YouTube, right? I don't think you guys have gotten the chance to witness this, right? And since this is like my first public YouTube live stream in a very long time, I think the last one I did was like many months ago, I wanted to show you guys this, right? So those of you who are familiar with my Twitch channel and you have seen my Twitch VOD, seen my Twitch live streams, you will know that I basically have like a channel mascot, right? And my channel mascot is very adorable. It's very fluffy, very huggable, right? And I don't really have a name for him. I know that, like, some of my viewers on Twitch, they recommended potentially calling the name of the mascot Captain, like maybe Captain with a K, Kaptain, right? Captain. But let me show you guys the channel mascot here. I actually got him, I think maybe like 2 years ago. It maybe like 1.5 years ago. It's been quite a while, and it was a pretty pretty big purchase, pretty big commitment, but I think it was totally worth it in the end, and I'm very, very happy with it. I think it was definitely, one of my best ideas ever. But this right here is my channel mascot. If you guys are able to see him in his full glory, he is a massive, huge, adorable, and very, very fluffy, plushie, right? He is a stuffed animal, and he is a capybara, if you guys are not able to tell. And so yeah, he is sort of the mascot, the symbol of my channel, so to speak. And I basically, have him with me at all times whenever I stream on Twitch. There are some days where, I will have him kind of in the background and he'll be like chilling on my bed and just relaxing. And the main reason why is, especially with a game right here like Elden Ring, I'm kind of focused on playing the game, and I'm holding the gaming controller, right? And I feel like having this guy, sit on my lap and kind of just me holding on to him while I'm playing a game like Elden Ring, it's a little bit inefficient. It's a little bit, kind of tough to get comfortable, right? And I find that, a lot of the time, whenever I play a game like Elden Ring, the thing about Elden Ring is that it's a very, very intensive game, you know what I mean? And so, with an intensive game like Elden Ring, I tend to get very, energetic about playing the game. And so a lot of the time, if, let's say, I'm fighting a boss that is very, very tricky, very difficult to fight against, right? There will be times where I get worked up and I get, very, sweaty and very overheated in terms of my temperature, right? And so having this giant massive stuffed animal here, holding on to him while I'm playing the game, it is not very super duper comfortable, right? Not very effective. And so I normally kind of put him to the side and let him rest and relax on the bed, watching my live stream, and then I kind of just game and I chill out. But wanted to have you guys meet the mascot of the channel and say hello. He is a very, very huggable, very fluffy, very adorable plushie. So yeah. But in any case, chat. Let's dive on into the game, shall we? Let me grab my controller here, and I'm gonna click on the continue. There we go. Press the continue button. Chat, one of the really annoying things that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to Streamlabs, the application, right? One of the big problems is that, when you are using Streamlabs, right? So I have Streamlabs on the side here, and there is a section of Streamlabs where it shows you all of your different your different screens, right? And so you can swap from your starting screen to your gaming screen to your ending screen, so on and so forth, right? And one of the really, really annoying things that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to it is, for some reason, right? When you are swapping in between your scenes, it's very strange, but, the scene kind of, it sort of, reloads, if that makes any sense. And so, I don't know if I can give you guys an example. I probably can. Let me see here. So if I were to do this, let me give you guys an example here. If I go to, what if I did this? Oh, yeah. So that kind of works, right? Obviously, this scene right here is not properly set up, and it's not showing what I want it to show, but it does work. I swap to a different scene. If I go back to the scene that I was on before, which is this one, you guys will see, above my webcam, there's the visual of my gaming controller, and you guys can see it says disconnected. That was not like that whenever I was, on Elden Ring. And so if I move it around now, you guys can see my controller is now connected. But when I swap to a different scene, it disconnects, and it the visual shows red, which is very, very bizarre. I don't like that. And, for those who don't know, using OBS, a completely better, superior application for streaming, you don't experience that same thing, right? On OBS, if you swap scenes, right, and you go back to the scene that has, that controller visual, for example, it does not reload, it does not refresh. It kind of just stays as it was before you swapped to a different scene. And so that's one of the weird things about Streamlabs that I'm just not really a big fan of. And I feel like it's very, ineffective and very just, suboptimal. But I kind of have to deal with it because I don't want to, I don't want to have to tinker with my OBS settings and whatever and swap that over to YouTube and then later on have to swap it back over to Twitch. It's just such a headache, such a nightmare. But yeah, anyways, chat, so let me explain sort of our situation here. Let me explain what we are up to in the DLC, right? So, for those who don't know, I already played through the DLC one time. I beat the DLC on New Game Plus 7 for my very, very first time, right? I had never played the DLC before New Game Plus 7. Now I'm on New Game Plus 8, and I'm going through the DLC again for the second time. If we open up my map here, you guys can actually see that I have basically the entire map is visible, and I've unlocked a lot of Sites of Grace, right? So what I've essentially done is I have run around the DLC, the brand new giant massive map here, and I have gone and unlocked all of the places where there is not a major significant boss fight, right? There's not like a remembrance boss, or there's not a boss that is extremely important to the lore of the game, of the DLC, And so, if we take a look here, this area that I'm currently in, this dungeon area, known as Ballarat Castle, there's a boss that is right here in this area, right past this Site of Grace that I'm currently standing at. I have not fought that boss. There is another boss, which is located in this building right here. I have not fought that boss. Let's see, what else is there? There's a boss basically right here in this area that I have not yet fought and defeated. There are, I think, yeah, there are two bosses in this area, the Shadow Keep. One over in this area, and then one in this, like, giant area over here. I have not fought either of those two bosses, right? There's also a boss way up here, kind of in sort of like the, southeast, or like maybe the mid-east area of the map that I have not yet fought. And then let's see, are there any other major bosses other than those ones that I pointed out? Not really. I mean, there's like, there's like a major boss, I think, over here. I believe it's like this area right here. Obviously you guys can see that I have not been to this area yet, and I have not unlocked the Sites of Grace. So, yeah, essentially what I've done is I've gone around the DLC, I've unlocked various Sites of Grace that are surrounding the, major important boss fights, but I have not done any of the boss fights yet. And I think there's a couple reasons why. Reason number one is just because, obviously, if I have the ability to record my footage of me fighting these bosses, I absolutely want to. Like, that is something that I would love to do, just so, if all else fails, right, I myself can look back, from the future, I can look back at these experiences, and I can be like, oh yeah, I remember fighting that boss, this is how it went, this is what I did well, this is what I sucked at, right? And I can kind of use these footages or these recordings, so to speak, of me playing through the DLC, and kind of review them, kind of do maybe an analysis of them, right? Which I think is very beneficial, very useful, and it also kind of serves as a way to, keep track of what I've been able to accomplish, and, keep track of basically how much I may potentially have improved over time, seeing, the amount of bosses I get to kill, or the amount of hours that I invest into a game, that sort of thing, right? It's very nice to basically take a trip down nostalgia lane and sort of like just go back in time and revisit moments that were super cool, right? Um, so that's reason number one. I wanted to save the boss fights for, either a Twitch live stream or a YouTube live stream, or a recording of some sort, right? So that's reason number one. And then reason number two is that when I played the DLC, through on the very, very first time, I admittedly like missed out on a lot of different things. I did not get to finish a lot of different quest lines for NPCs that are in the DLC. And that's mainly just because I was kind of doing a blind playthrough and I wasn't really looking up anything. And so, I did as much as I could. I did as many quest lines as I was able to discover, but there was quite a few that I missed out on, and therefore there was quite a few rewards that I think are very valuable that I also missed out on, right? And so, I want to make sure that I do those quest lines and I get the valuable rewards before I, fight any of these major bosses and I, get past them, because some of these quest lines, they work in a way where if you progress far enough into the DLC, into the game, you will lock yourself out of doing certain quest lines, which I've always found that sort of mechanic of the game to be quite troublesome. I never really was a big fan of how that functioned. I think that if you are building a game with, sort of NPC quest lines, those should be able to be completed at any point in time in the entire game, in the entire DLC, right? I don't think it should be something where, oh, well, you walked too far into the game, therefore you are locked out of doing these quests, right? I think that's kind of ridiculous, and it makes it very annoying where it's like, ah, man, I missed out on this quest line. I have to wait until a brand new, new game plus cycle has finished, and then start the next one in order to get the valuable rewards from the quest line that I missed in my next playthrough, right? Yeah, it just never really seemed, I guess, fair, in my opinion. It feels like, basically these games, when they have these quest lines that are very restrictive and limited, it feels like they are expecting players to kind of look up information and research answers and find solutions from other people, rather than playing through the game on their own, discovering things on their own, and kind of having their own separate private journey through the game, right? Which I never have been a supporter of that idea. But yeah. In any case, so chat, this live stream here that I'm doing, I am probably going to aim for this live stream to be around maybe 2 to 3 hours maximum, is what I would say, right? Roughly 2 to 3 hours, if I can, make it that far. And after that, I will probably be ending the live stream, at a certain good moment where I can like pause the game and stop there for the time being, and then I can return at a later time, maybe like next week or something, to do another YouTube live stream and continue on with my DLC journey, because there are many different bosses in the DLC to fight against, and I don't think that I'll be able to do it in like 2 YouTube live streams or whatever. It'll probably take me 3, 4, 5, maybe even more than that to get through all the different bosses. Some of these bosses are quite tricky. Yeah, for those who don't know, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday each week, I actually do stream on Twitch. And so basically how it's going to work today is that I'm going to do this live stream, and then maybe, I don't know, 1 hour or like 2 hours after I do this live stream, I'm going to go on Twitch and I'm going to live stream on Twitch, and I'll be playing kind of like my usual games that I play. I'll be playing Genshin, Wuthering Waves, And I think like today I'm probably going to be doing a sort of like a just chatting stream on Twitch where I talk about certain trending popular topics that a lot of people are discussing right now. One of the things that I'm going to be doing, you know, for those who don't know, recently on Twitch there was this thing that came out which is called the I don't know what the official name for it is, but it's called like the like end of year recap, right, for Twitch. And so you actually get to go through, you know, if you are someone who is a viewer on Twitch, you get to see like, okay, who are the streamers that I spent the most amount of hours watching? Who are the streamers that I typed the most messages in their chat? And who are the streamers where I earn the most channel points? That sort of a thing, right? So it gives you this like sort of 2024 end of year recap of how your experience was on Twitch as a viewer, right? And if you're someone like me who also, you know, tries to stream on Twitch and you try to be a pretty decent content creator, so to speak, then you also get on top of a viewer 2024 recap, you also get a streamer 2024 recap. And so very likely I will be, you know, reviewing both of those on my Twitch channel and kind of like talking about it. And my current thought process is that I think, you know, after I do all of that in my Twitch live stream today, I will probably end up turning that into a, you know, a VOD, right, into sort of a video that I can export to my YouTube, and I can just upload it on YouTube very easily without really doing too much editing or anything like that. And I will, you know, kind of just have that available on my YouTube channel, just because I think it's nice to keep a record of all this stuff. You know, I can look back next year or 2 years from now and be like, oh yeah, that's how it was in 2024, and I get to see like, okay, did anything change majorly over time, right? So yeah, but I will be, you know, after my YouTube live stream concludes, I will be shortly afterwards hopping over to Twitch, and I will be streaming on Twitch. So if any of you out there, you know, are interested in like the whole gotcha game, you know, content, right? Genshin, Wuthering Waves, that sort of a thing, you can feel free to hop on over on Twitch if you do enjoy that stuff. I know that some people out there, I've actually spoken to quite a few, you know, of my viewers, right? People who have seen my stuff on YouTube, and they you know, tend to have an opinion where it's like, yeah, Twitch is not really an ideal platform for them, right? And I would say this, I think, especially applies to international viewers, right? People who live in like, you know, countries out there in Europe, in Asia, that sort of a thing, right? Um, and they say that they like YouTube better, at least in the terms of like they like YouTube videos better than, you know, watching Twitch streams. And maybe some of them out there might really enjoy YouTube live streams instead of Twitch live streams. And I think one of the biggest reasons why potentially is that I think Twitch has it has a culture of basically pushing a lot of advertisements, you know, pushing a lot of company marketing and whatever onto viewers, right? And so in order to not deal with that, you have to pay money, right? You have to subscribe. Whereas on YouTube, I think it is, you know, not as prevalent when it comes to advertisements. And if there are advertisements, you know, a lot of the time you can watch like 5 seconds of the advertisement and then skip it. Or you can, you know, maybe if you're savvy enough, if you're tech savvy enough, if you're smart enough, you can download like a particular application, particular software, or whatever that basically blocks the advertisements for you, right? So I think that that's probably a reason why a lot of people prefer YouTube, which I think is very fair, very logical. I will say the one thing that Twitch does a lot better than YouTube is I feel like the viewer experience on Twitch, getting to chat in a streamer's channel, right, and getting to use very unique and very entertaining like emotes, right? I think that that sort of like socialization and interaction culture on Twitch is a lot more, you know, smooth and well defined compared to YouTube, where I feel like YouTube live streams, it's a lot less a lot less vibrant and colorful and interesting to chat, in a YouTube live stream, right? Which I think is definitely a big downside, but it is what it is, right? In any case, yeah. So chat, I think, let me see here. I know for a fact that we are going to be fighting this boss over here, and I think afterwards what I probably want to do is I probably want to check the Elden Ring Wikipedia page just to see like all of these different NPC quest lines that I need to participate in, right? I need to see like, okay, are any of them going to be locked behind certain conditions or whatever, right? Like, let's say if I fight a certain boss, will that prevent me from continuing a quest line for a particular NPC that exists out there, right? So I think that's what we'll probably do, and I think the goal of today's stream, assuming that it does take us this long to do it, is I would say at bare minimum we want to aim for fighting against 2 major bosses and fighting against them and defeating them, right? If we can do more than 2, that's fantastic, but 2 I think is our goal for today's live stream. Yeah, because that's kind of how I did it with when I was playing through. If you guys take a look here, I can show you. When I was playing through the base game of Elden Ring, you guys can see here this large, massive map with all of these locations, these sites of grace and whatever. I played through the base game, and I also did the exact same thing, where when I went to a major boss fight, whether it was Morgott, it was Rilana, it was Radahn, maybe it was Rykard, or Alu, any of those like big major bosses in the base game of Elden Ring, I recorded my footage of me fighting those bosses, and every time that I did a recording, I would fight 2 of the main game bosses, and I would defeat both of them. And that's how I kind of divided up the live streams and sort of segmented it, right? So yeah. But in any case, let's go back to the DLC here. So I think I'm going to take a very quick moment here to open up the Wikipedia page. Let me see here. If I go here, Elden Ring, and then I'm going to type in NPCs. Open up this page. Alright, so I think those 2 are fine. I don't really worry about them. Hornsent is definitely an NPC that we care about. I don't think we really need to take a look at more, just because I'm pretty sure I've finished like the majority of his quest line. Tiolier is definitely an NPC that we need to watch out for. And then Dragon Communion Priestess, I think, is the last one on this list that we really care about. Yeah, because all these other NPCs that exist, they either don't really have a major quest line, or if they do have a quest line, I've already completed basically the important steps of that quest line, and therefore I don't need to really like do anything else. I don't really need to watch out for any sort of lockout conditions or anything, So yeah, okay. All right, let me go ahead and fight this first boss. We'll see how it goes, and after we fight this boss, we will basically take a look at how we stand and basically see, okay, what do we need to do next, right? What build do I want to go for this boss? This boss is really, really annoying. I am definitely not a major fan of this boss. Let me see here. Last time I used a magic build, which was not at all bad, but it was a little tiny bit tricky. I suppose what we could do here, let me see. Take a look at my equipment here. I've got my sorcery build on. I suppose we could do the martial arts build and see how that goes. See if I can deal any significant damage against this boss. Yeah, so we could run something like this, perhaps. And then what I would do is I would remove these. I would do that. I suppose it would be not a bad idea to... Let me see here. Let's go to, Wondrous Physic. Okay, what if we do... Nah. Reduces equip load? No. Dodge rolls? No. I think we probably want to... We can try Stone Barbed and see how it performs, but I don't know what are the chances of me... what are the chances of me actually, like, staggering and you know, kind of, bringing down this boss going in for, like, a critical hit afterwards, right? I feel like the chances are quite low for that, so I'm not really confident in this, but we can try it out just to see how, you know, what happens. Alright, let's see here. I think this is already activated, so that's fine. Alright. Here we go, chat. This is going to be the very first attempt of this boss here, which, I already know what the boss is, and, this boss is kind of a pain in the butt. I am not really a big fan of this boss at all. I will say, like, you know, from a design perspective, from a visual perspective, this boss is decently okay, right? Not too bad at all, but... in terms of fighting him, it's quite tough, you know?
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower's sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance and kavod, cleanse all that thou wilt. Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny.
Yeah, from a design perspective, this boss is fucking badass, but fighting against him is really tough. Never been a fan of that attack. And that was first hit. Oof, yeah. That attack right there is really dangerous because you basically want to stay far range from that attack and, you know, kind of just keep your distance and not really engage with the boss in that moment, you know? Alright, here we go again, round 2. I think, honestly, trying to fight this boss with a, you know, melee build is not a good idea at all. Oof. Yep. I mean, the boss does bleed, which is good. Yikes. I thought I could sneak in a weapon art there. Back away from that attack, because it's fucking dangerous as shit. I actually don't know if there's a way to get around that. Like, maybe you can stay super close range to him? I always mistime my jump on that. It's so, like, deceiving, you know? Oh, he has a follow-up there. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think it's really, really tough to, you know, kind of like melee this guy. I wonder... I'm actually curious to test out, okay, how well does my Mimic perform if I were to bring in my Mimic and see basically whether it's possible to tag team this guy. Oh, he grabbed me. Oh. Oh, interesting. I thought that the boss was doing a, I thought the boss was doing like a sort of lunge attack where he would like basically try to swing at you or try to like, you know, bite you. But I didn't know that was a grab attack there. Yeah, that was quite unlucky indeed. All right, let's do this. Okay, that hurt. My god. He has a very, very nasty grab attack that I really do not know how to, you know, kind of time the dodges for. That is quite interesting. Because I remember, chat, the first time that I fought this guy, I basically fought him, what's it called? I fought him with my sorcery build, so I think it was a little bit more manageable. But yeah, I mean, it's to be expected when this guy has a dangerous attack, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. I think it was like, you know, pretty decent execution there where I allowed my Mimic to get in the first hit and to like kind of grab its attention. But yeah, I think like staying alive is the rough part. So let me see here. My god. Okay, lightning phase. I remember the lightning phase. Dude, that lightning is so tricky to maneuver against. So this is the tornado phase. My god, it hits like a truck, dude. Nice, okay. Good job, Mimic. Yeah, that was really lucky. I honestly felt like what might happen there is I might potentially run out of the, like, HP flasks. I always feel that way, and I think the main reason why is because I'm very used to running a sorcery build, and, you know, when you run a sorcery build, you obviously have a crap ton of, you know, FP flasks, right? Like, right now, I only have 2, but when you're running a sorcery build, you have usually about, I would say, anywhere between, like, 4 to 6 at minimum, right? And, so I'm used to having maybe about only 8 to 10 HP flasks, and you know, I'm very used to the idea of running low on HP flasks in a fight. But I think that, you know, thankfully, since I brought in my Mimic to help me with that fight, I was able to conserve a little bit of HP and have my Mimic sort of tank damage, which is quite beneficial, you know? And so yeah, that helped quite a lot. Um, you know, I remember, so the first time that I fought against this boss, you know, during my very first DLC playthrough, I used my sorcery build, and I did also, utilized a spirit summon. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure, um, you know, when I utilized the spirit summon, I'm very, very sure that it was it? Yeah, I think it was Tish, right? The Black Knife Assassin. Um, just because Tish is really, really good at cutting down the max HP of the boss, you know, of the you know, enemy that you are up against, right? So I think I utilized Tish there, which was really, really nice. It was very beneficial, very helpful. The biggest problem with Tish, that is quite difficult to, you know, like, take into account and to sort of deal with, is that, you know, the way that Tish functions is she loves to try and get up close and deal some damage with her daggers that she has. And so, you know, even though Tish is a you know, she is a character where basically you are you know, you're able to utilize her, and she is very good at kind of dodging, you know, weaving attacks, and kind of being very nimble, being very agile in the arena. I think she also has this tendency to be very, I guess, be very greedy is one way to put it, right? And so, you know, she will go in for certain attacks that I feel like the timing is just way too risky and dangerous, you know? And then other times she'll be smart about it. She'll dodge and weave, and she'll run around, and then she'll use her, you know, the Ash of War, or the weapon art for the blades, which reduces the max HP of the enemy. I think that is what she is best utilized for, but it's very RNG. There are some times where she gets a little bit too aggressive, and she tries to go into the boss and sort of fight the boss, you know, up close, face to face, which is not what she should be doing. That's not her role. But then there's other times where you fight and you utilize Tish, and she's really good at keeping her distance and being a very cautious, you know, ally in battle, right? So that was really good. That was really nice. I think what we're gonna do now, chat, there is a very minor NPC that is over in this direction. Let me see here. If I go to... Everything's so dark around here. Gosh darn it. I always feel like I need to have my lantern equipped in this game, And it's really annoying, you know, for those who don't know, utilizing the lantern in this game, for some reason, if you teleport to, you know, another side of grace, or if you end up dying and you end up basically, you know, just getting killed and, you know, being brought back to the last place that you saved your progress at, your lantern will get removed from your body, which I always found that to be very suboptimal, and I always found that to be like just, you know, not at all very, I guess, good game design. I felt like it was quite painful, quite annoying, you know, and I was just never a big fan of the way that it worked, and I feel like it would be such a like beneficial quality of life update if the developers allowed the lantern to stay on the body no matter what. It's just that I feel like, you know, these developers, they don't view it as sort of a major problem, so they're like, ah, well, why do we need to fix it? You know, there's no need to. It is what it is, right? But yeah, I feel like it's such a minor thing that if they improved it, if they made it better, it would make such a difference that Elden Ring players did not know that they really cared about. But once the change was made, you know, once the lantern is like permanently equipped on you, assuming that you want it to be equipped on you, right? Once that is implemented in the game, once it's added, I think all the Elden Ring players will be very grateful, you know? Alright, Granny, let's chat.
Oh, such a joy to smell the scent again. Does a sculpted keeper stand before me? Oh, as I felt the sacred beast's essence fade, a great anxiety welled up within. Forgive this old woman her foolish fears. 'Tis such relief I cannot express. After an eternity of the mind, our voices have at last reached the heavens, as evinced by thy gracious arrival. Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, interesting. So basically what we're doing is we are pretending to be the boss that we just now killed, and we are chatting with her, I guess, and she thinks that the boss is not dead, you know?
I implore, vessel of the sacred beast, have my son accompany thee to war, and dance thy dance of beauteous color. Take vengeance upon Mesmerity's lot. They who betrayed us, aye, they who burned us, let them face in thy wrath their just deserts. My song will I sing, in service to thee.
Watchful Spirit. Okay, interesting. What else do you have for me? Anything else, Granny?
O sculpted keeper, channel thy color into the most resplendent of dances. My song will I sing, in service to thee. O's my song.
Okay. So what happens if I remove this?
O's my song. O's my song. O's my song.
Okay. So let me see here. I'm gonna put on the helmet back again.
Horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, we beg of thee to dance and cavort, dance and cavort. Cleanse all that thou wilt, cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny. My.
Okay. So then if I remove it...
Horn-decked
Oh, she says the exact same thing.
Delivered.
Interesting. Okay. So let's go back to the site of grace because, for those who are not aware, there's a particular item that this old lady is supposed to give you, and it's not really like a super important item, right? It's basically just a particular dish of food that she gives you, and the only reason why we want it per se is that basically, if you show this particular food to a different NPC, um,
From higher
you know,
sphere delivered.
basically you will unlock some additional
Dance
dialogue,
and
right?
kavod. Welcome, O glorious sculpted keeper. Thou art kind indeed to this aged crone. Ah, oh, pardon me, my dear. Where are my manners? Surely thou must hunger, O sculpted keeper. I prithee, partake of this modest dish. 'Tis only plain fare, but sup to the lees, and it will surely grant thee ample vigor.
There we go. Okay, so we got it. Perfect. And then now what we can do is, it's actually quite interesting that, like, in that moment that we are talking to that NPC, we don't have the mask on, and yet she still thinks that we are the sculpted keeper, right?
We beg of thee to dance and kavod, dance and kavod. Cleanse all that thou wilt, cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away.
Okay, let me see here, chat. I'm trying to figure out where the NPC that I'm looking for is. I don't know where he disappeared to. He's not over here. I don't think he's in Morth Ruins. I actually wonder, where does the Wikipedia page says it? Let me see here. Let's go to Hornsent. High Road Cross Site of Grace. I mean, did we not talk to him there? Okay. So, I think the unfortunate thing, chat, is the NPC that we're looking for, he basically moved to this area over here, the Shadow Keep, and he does not basically, he does not, like, stand in this area. Like, there's no location over here that you can go to and you can find him just kind of like, waiting, right? The only, like, basically when the game says that he moves over to this location, it means that, like, you can go to this location, and I believe that there are two different bosses where you can summon him to help you in the fight, and he can aid you in battle, right? The problem is that I need to find him basically out in the open world, and I need to kind of speak to him there, right? So I'm hoping that maybe, possibly, he might do that after I go through this area, but there's also a part of me that thinks to myself, oh man, maybe there's a chance he might not appear at all. Like, once I go through this area and I either defeat the bosses on my own or I summon him, right? He might just like go to the final location where he's meant to be, which is like basically way up here in this area, right? Um, okay, okay. So let me see here. I need to refer to the wiki page just to make sure that I'm not, you know, not ruining anything. Okay, so those two are fine. I don't think I will be. Yeah, I don't think I'll be like missing out on anything. Let me see here. Tiolier. Okay. Yeah, so Tiolier is safe. We don't need to worry about him. All right, and then Dragon Communion Priestess. Okay, I think we're chilling. I think we're good to go, chat. So what I'm gonna do here is I think, chat, we are gonna go to this side of Grace, and we are going to fight the first boss, like first kind of like major boss of this area. Um, I think. I really do hope that, you know, this works out and it does not prove to be a bad decision for us. Oh, wait a second, hold on. Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember. So I can summon Hornsent and I can summon Freya for this fight. I do remember that. Okay, okay. All right. So, I think what I'm going to do, chat, is I'm going to try fighting this boss without summoning any of these allies. And the reason why, in case anyone out there is unfamiliar with how the summons work in this game, basically, if you bring in allies, right? You bring in some NPCs to help you fight against this against any boss, right? If the summon sign for the NPC, if it appears outside of the arena, outside of the location where you fight the boss, what happens is when you summon them, the difficulty of the boss will actually increase because the boss will gain extra health, and I think there might be a chance that the boss also deals extra damage, but I do know that like the boss is a lot more tricky to fight against, right? And it has a lot of a much more tankier build, right? To deal with. So I think we're gonna try fighting this boss without bringing in Freya or Hornsent, and we're gonna see how it goes. But I will say, I think I probably will be using my Mimic tier for this. Very likely. I think that is the plan for this fight, just because this boss I think is very very annoying to fight solo. It has some attacks where you kind of want to avoid the attacks as much as you possibly can, and if you're unable to, then you kind of get screwed over, you know? Um, okay. All right, let's do this. Oof. I think I'm dead here. Yep. Yeah, okay. So that charge attack that the boss does at the very beginning, it is very, very, very powerful. And you basically do not want to be grabbed by it. Because as you saw there, it basically, in a sense, kind of one-shot me, you know? Alright. So, let's see here. Drink the flask. Traverse. Oof. Yikes. That is such a long delay. I do not like that. Okay, nicely done. Ooh, yeah, that attack is painful. Ooh, yikes. My poor Mimic tier. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Yeah. That was a very epic death right there. I was so close to, you know, killing the enemy. And I thought I might have been able to deal enough damage, but yeah, that was rough. Okay. Okay. I will say, I think the strategy of sticking close by the enemy is very smart, though. Ow. Okay, I did not roll that on time. That was rough. My Mimic tier is not doing too bad, though. Pretty decent. Yeah, I think I honestly would have been able to get the boss on the previous try if I was a little tiny bit more careful there, you know? Drink a flask. Okay. There we go. I'm proud of you, Mimic tier. You carried. You really did a good, solid amount of damage there. Very proud of my Mimic tier. Hell yeah, baby. Alright, so we rest here. Got our beautiful reward for killing the boss. Sit down, rest. And then, let's see here. We can open up this door, I think. Or is it maybe on the other side? Yeah, it's from the other side. I remember. Okay. I actually know how to open up that door, so, you know, it's not really a major problem for me. I'm just glad that I was able to, you know, get that boss completed. Lol. Hello, big boy. Ow. Bye-bye. He actually hits pretty decently hard there, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah, big boy. Come over here. Is he not gonna follow me? Oof. I can't believe that he somehow managed to iframe through my my weapon art there. Come here, big boy. Yeah. Come over here. Oof, beautiful. I love it. I do need my lantern here. I can't see a damn thing. I actually wonder, if I try to sneak around these guys, will they even see me? Nice. So this is where we came from, right? Yeah, it is. I remember. Okay. It's actually quite hilarious knowing how limited the visibility of the enemies is. Yeah, I remember this part. Yeah, my first playthrough, when I was basically trying to fight again, or trying to go through this area, I remember those guys over there, they like jump scared me, basically. Okay. Eat a bag of dirt. Beautiful. So this area is rough because there's several different Black Knight enemies here. And it's not necessarily that these enemies are like particularly, you know, they're not particularly tough to fight against. It's just that they, what's it called? They have a lot of, you know, tankiness to them. And, you know, if you're not careful with your attacks and your timing and whatever, they can really screw you over, which is quite annoying, you know. Trying to see if I can lure the bow guy out. There's the shield guy. I don't really want to fight him up there because there's such like a limited space up there where I feel like it is, you know, totally possible to miss, and you know, I might potentially fall off of the tiny ledge, which is really annoying, you know. There we go. God, I love martial arts in this game. For those of you out there who have, like, you know, maybe you've never played Elden Ring, or you've played Elden Ring but you've never tried it before, I highly, highly recommend martial arts. It's such a, like, really, really powerful and really fun build, without a doubt, right? Because, so, you know, the way that I like to play martial arts is, you know, I prefer where what I do is I will hit them with so I'll do a jumping R2, and then after I do the jumping R2, I immediately launch into a weapon art, which is the L2 button on a controller. And it's just, it's so incredibly enjoyable. So very, very, very satisfying, you know? And I think, like, for the most part, obviously excluding certain bosses in the DLC, I think that using that combination of attacks is extremely, very, very effective, and you're able to basically avoid taking any serious, you know, serious damage against you that reduces your HP significantly, right? There they are. Yeah, yeah, I see you. Okay. Pretty sure there's gonna be at least 2, maybe 3 more. Are you coming over here, dude? Yeah, just like that. That combo right there is perfection. So, what I need to do is I need to go here. Oof, what a nice backstab. That's clean. Another clean backstab. Gotta avoid this bozo. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think being on a, you know, an inclined slope like that is very ineffective. It's quite troublesome being able to utilize your attacks, because a lot of the time, for example, you guys saw there, the attacks that I would do would go over the head of the enemy, right? Very, very troublesome indeed. All right, nice. So now what I need to do, chat, is we need to kind of, like, quote unquote make a decision, right? Um, you know, for those of you who don't know, there are these 2 NPCs in the game. One of them is named Hornsent, and the other is named Letta, right? Now, Letta, she starts to, like, get suspicious and have these doubts about the other NPCs in the game. And essentially her entire thought process is, do these other NPCs, do they loyally serve Mikola, the demigod that she, worships? Do they serve Mikola? Or do they uh what's it called? Or do they harbor uh any sort of desire to revolt and to go against the wishes of Mikola, right? Um so yeah, she starts to grow suspicious, and after she gets suspicious, it leads her to basically trying to, I guess, like, you know, hunt down the other hunt down the other NPCs and try to take them out, right? And so in this game, you can choose to either help, or you can choose to um, go against Letta, right? So you can help her hunt down the other NPCs, or you can go against her. And depending on which option that you choose, you get a different like reward for picking a side, right? And I think that I know what side that I want to pick. The only question now is, you know where do I find Letta and Hornsent, right? Let's see. It says just before the elevator to the storehouse first floor side of Grace. Okay. Okay. I think I know where that is. I'm pretty sure what I need to do is I need to go here. Yep. Lure this bozo in. Come on. Come this way. Come on. Come on in. You guys need to come on in here and fight me. Can't just stay there forever. There we go. We have one victim. Okay. There's one. There we go. There's another one. You gotta come closer, buddy. You can't just throw these poison, explosives and stay back there. Right? There you go. Beautiful. Ooh, he jumped over me. Sneaky, sneaky. I see you. Alright. Well, bye-bye. Nice knowing you, bud. Okay, this guy is not too troublesome. I think we can take him on. We just need to be very careful. We need to be cautious about this fight right here. I'm gonna swap that very quickly, just in case I have the ability to, earn a drop from this enemy. This enemy drops a sword. It's a great sword, which is actually quite powerful. Actually quite a good great sword, if you upgrade it and you know how to use it properly. So I do recommend getting this great sword if you possibly can. There we go. Nice. Yeah, so the trick with these enemies, right? I think they're known as the Fire Knights, or the Mesmer's Fire Knights. They are very powerful enemies, so you never want to underestimate them. But the trick with them is that basically you want to make sure that, you know, make sure that you kind of keep on staying on the offensive and making sure that you like basically stay away from their dangerous attacks and sort of stagger them properly, right? This is kind of weird, chat. Hold on, give me a second. Let me try. Let me see here. Maybe I did not exhaust the dialogue with Letta enough. Maybe that's the case.
I will follow the Hun to have his revenge on the Black Keep. I will follow the Hun to have his revenge on the Black Keep.
So, let me see here. That's the really confusing thing, right? Because, they'll be in the south near a set of stairs. So, let me see. Let's travel to that area again, and let's take a look and see. I'm just wondering why Letta is like still, you know, her NPC is still over there, and yet, you know, the Hornsense NPC has disappeared and you know, obviously gone to the Shadow Keep, right? There we go. Ooh. See, that's another big reason, chat, of why I like to lead with the the wonderful you know, jumping R2. The reason being is that basically by leading with that attack, if the enemy jumps into the air, you're also jumping into the air, and so you have the capability of like staggering the enemy and stopping them midair, right? Which is very advantageous because when you hit an enemy while they're midair, they like their poise that they have, you know, the amount of sort of like I guess the amount of immunity, so to speak, to being staggered is a lot, you know, less when they're midair compared to when they're on the ground, you know? There we go. Okay. God, I love getting them infinitely stun locked with, you know, that attack. Alright, chat. So I found the summon signs. They were actually right here, which is fantastic, right? So I decided that what I'm going to do with these summon signs, right? Because we can only choose one to assist, right? We can only choose Letta or we can choose Hornsent. Yeah. So I made my decision, right? I made my decision quite a long time ago of which one I wanted to help. And the way that I decided, right, it's actually quite interesting. So, you know, there is a particular YouTube channel that I like to follow. And if you guys out there are, people who enjoy watching Souls content, then you may potentially be familiar with this channel. And if you aren't familiar with the channel, I highly recommend that you guys check it out. There's a YouTube channel out there called Ongbal, right? Ongbal. And I believe, I don't know what, like, language that word is, but I believe that the, creator of that channel, the host of that channel, I believe he is a Korean Souls player, right? So he does a lot of, videos. He does a lot of content where he will fight bosses in Elden Ring or in Souls games, and he will do no-hit challenges where he goes in, fight the bosses, and he does not get hit a single time, does not take a single, HP of damage, right? And it's very impressive, and I watch those videos and I find them incredibly entertaining, incredibly, satisfying to watch, right? And I remember, a long time ago, this was like when I was first going through the DLC for the very first time, I saw a video that he did where he fought against a DLC boss that I had already, defeated. I had already gotten past this boss, and he fought against this DLC boss doing a no-hit challenge run, and he utilized a very specific Ash of War that I was not familiar with. And so I was like, what the heck? That is a really, it seems to be a very powerful Ash of War, right? So I looked up the information on what is this Ash of War, how do I get it? And I found out that this Ash of War is actually given to you by Hornsent, and it's only unlockable if you help him in this battle here, fighting against Letta. So yeah, this reward here, the Ash of War that you get, you can get it from assisting Hornsent, and if you decide to get this particular Ash of War, you also get one other reward. But the reward that you would get for assisting Letta, you are locked out of getting that reward until the next, subsequent playthrough that you do, which is kind of, unfortunate. It's definitely not ideal, and I wish that it could be done differently. But I would say that honestly, the reason why I made this decision is because I think that the Ash of War given by Hornsent is so incredibly valuable compared to the rewards that you get for Letta, right? And so, yeah, I think that this will be a good trade-off, right? A good value that we get for this playthrough, and then during my next playthrough, we can get the other rewards from Letta, right? But yeah. All right, let's see here. Be summoned to assist Hornsent. All right, let's do it. Why not? Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just click X. All right.
Worthy Hornsent, I will dispose of you before your thirst for revenge beckons our undoing. I can no longer trust your word.
In the end, I knew this day would come. The nature of your kind, I am certain, will always show itself. Given time, interfere not with my business. Seren, what could your purpose possibly be? I do not recollect begging for help. Do not interfere. This is my revenge.
Well, sorry, Hornsent. I had to help you there, buddy. Wanted the reward. My apologies. That was a pretty cool fight, though. Ash of War, Swift Slash. Letta's Rune. Ooh, very, very cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah, so unfortunately, you can't get the other reward for, helping Letta. And it's actually quite interesting. This is a little bit of a spoiler for those of you who, have not ever experienced this before. But, for those of you who don't really care about spoilers that much, I will say that basically, in this moment, if you were to assist Letta, if you were to, fight against Hornsent, right, and you were to battle him and defeat him, I believe that what happens is basically there is going to be a future encounter in the game, in the DLC, and Hornsent will not appear in that encounter. So it'll be a very different situation, right? Yeah, so that's kind of like one of the interesting things about doing this particular quest line, event right here, right? But yeah. Let me see here. So let me take a look at the Wikipedia page very quickly, chat. Let me see if we do this. Um, okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alrighty then. Let's see. How long has it been? Let me check my live stream here. It's not too bad. That's not too bad on time. I'm quite happy with that. Okay. So, very, very cool stuff, chat. We managed to kill those two bosses. I think what we're gonna do for this stream, chat, is I think we are going to fight one final boss here. Yeah. I think we fight one final boss. And we see, how easy or how difficult this fight is gonna be. So this boss, I remember that, I remember that during my playthrough, right? My very first DLC playthrough, this boss over here that I fought against was the biggest, most massive pain in the butt for me. And one of the main reasons why is because this boss is basically one that I believe is highly resistant, if I'm not mistaken, highly resistant to like sorcery, to magic. And so I think that the strategy that I used to fight against this boss, it was extremely, I think, suboptimal and not very effective whatsoever. But I still somehow managed to win. And so we're gonna see whether things, whether things change this time around or not. And we'll get to see, like, okay, how difficult is this going to be? Is this going to be another pain in the ass like it was last time, or is it going to be a little bit easier? All right. Okay. I think we're ready, potentially. Let me see here. Let me get rid of that. Let me put that. There we go. All right. Let's do this, chat. Ring or sound the hanging bell. For some reason I always think of, bells. For some reason they got a ring, Okay. Mimic's here. Me and you, buddy. We got this. Let's go in. Oof. Man. This boss hits like a truck. And also this boss is extremely ugly. Alright. So I think the idea with this boss, the mistake that I made going into that first attempt, is I stayed in front of the boss rather than, going behind and attacking it from where it was not able to reach me, So I think this time around we try going behind it and seeing if going behind we can make any difference, I think the good thing about this boss is that it, you know, is very lenient with letting you, what's it called? Letting you kind of prepare yourself and gather yourself before tackling the boss. Alright, let's go. Ah, I jumped that too early, or I rolled that too early. Okay. Can you let me heal for a second? Ugh. Yeah, this boss is very annoying to deal with. I am not a fan of this boss. I actually wonder... So, I believe that this boss, if I'm not mistaken, is, I think it might be weak to holy damage, potentially. So if it is, assuming that it is, assuming that I'm not incorrect, I wonder if there's, like, certain attacks where it's very beneficial to use it, you know? Okay. Alright. Yeah, jump that too early. I forgot I have to roll that one. Come on, Mimic Tier. We can do this, buddy. God damn it. I don't know how I survived that. Alright, I'm the only one left. Shit. Yeah. That's rough. That's really, really rough. Okay. So, that attack, you know, for those of you who are not aware, basically this boss does an attack where it kind of like does I would say like a 360 or maybe even like a 720-degree laser attack, right? And it's very, very, very troublesome, very annoying to deal with. And basically the way that that attack works is, if I'm not mistaken, you need to find a very specific position that is not too far away, but also not too close to the boss, to where you can basically like stand in a very, very particular spot and avoid damage, which is extremely, extremely difficult to achieve, right? Oh, shoot. What? I thought I rolled that. Ugh, that attack is so annoying. Such an annoying attack. I really don't understand, like, what is the positioning for it? It makes no sense to me. Because I think, like, I watched one video. I think I watched one very, like, it was not even really like an educational learning video for this boss. It was more so just a video where I'm pretty sure it was Ongbal or a different content creator. They fought this boss and they survived. They, you know, did not get hit a single time. And they somehow managed to dodge that attack. And I still do not know how they managed to accomplish that. You know, it was so impressive. Ugh, dude. That's such a bullshit attack right there. Like, there's no way that you can run, like, run away from that attack. I don't think you can roll into it either, because if, like, it has multiple hits. So you basically just need to, you know, kind of keep your distance. You need to stay far away from the boss before the attack even happens. And it's really annoying. I feel like, honestly, obviously staying in front of the boss is very, very dangerous, right? That is a very risky move to take. But also, I feel like staying on the sides of the bosses is another risky move. You know, very, very dangerous, right? I thought I rolled that. Okay. Guess I didn't. Really? Landing right on top of me, dude? That's so, like, garbage. Sure, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I guess. That still hits? Really? Really? That still hits. Holy crap, this boss is garbage. I have no more HP flasks, so, yeah. Yeah, I think this run is dead. Yep. I'm pretty sure, you know, I haven't looked this information up, so I can't tell whether it's actually true or not, but I'm pretty sure that there is a way that you can make it to, or not make it, but there's a way that if you basically keep on fighting this boss, you may potentially have an attempt that you do where he does not use that, really, really annoying, you know, kind of laser attack, right? Okay. Let me see. Heal up. Use that. I forgot to roll. Okay. Really? Here comes the laser. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, chat. What the fuck was that? Okay, so I basically panicked there, and I completely forgot what what buttons I was pushing, right? So, okay, first of all, I remember what I was doing is I was rolling, right? So I was rolling to avoid the it was doing the sort of like pinpoint kind of like very quick burst laser attack that it does where it's like, you know, firing off bullets like projectiles at you, right? So, you know, I remember that like what's it called? I was rolling and I accidentally my finger brushed against the button that is to do like a normal kind of regular hit, like a punch, right? And so in the middle of me rolling, without me wanting to, without me intending to, I basically just got hit there, right? I got hit and I died, right? Well, or no, so I didn't die there, but I got hit and I got staggered. And then, you know, when I got close to, you know, where the boss was, right? Instead of doing the, like, attack button, I accidentally pressed the wrong button, which is the button that is intended to block instead. And I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have, but I did. And it, you know, fucked me up. Completely ruined my chance of winning there. And, yeah, it was very, very painful, you know. I don't know why the actual hell you know, I don't know why the actual hell I pressed the block button there. Like, there was no, like, I guess, signal that my brain was telling my body, where it's like, hey, you want to press the block button, right? There was no desire to press the block button. It was like, I don't know, it was as if my fingers completely forgot that, you know, that there's a difference between the block button and the attack button. And I think that, like, instead of pressing the trigger, which is what I intended to press, my finger was like, oh, you want me to press the button instead of the trigger. And it's like, nope, that is not at all what I wanted to press. But yeah, it did not listen to me. Not a single bit. Alright, let's go again, chat. Yeah, this boss is just like, it is incredibly ridiculous. Ugh, what a nasty attack, dude. What a nasty attack that is. So yeah, that attack right there, if you are way too close to the boss, you know, you're not able to run fast enough to get far away, and you get hit by that first, like, wave of damage, it staggers you, and you're not able to, you know, drink a health flask, right, because you're staggered, and you basically are guaranteed to get hit by the second wave of damage. And so it's more or less like an instant death, sort of an instant kill type move. And I really hate shit like that. It just, I think to me, that is just really poor game design. Okay. Really? Sure. I thought I would roll through that. Ugh. Oh, I had no more flasks. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So that... Okay. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the amount of flasks that I had, which is why I attempted to back up and heal there instead of going in for damage. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, okay. Alright, let me see here. Sound hanging bell. Okay. What a piece of shit boss, okay. Really bad start at the beginning. Sure. Whatever. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so that's not good. Okay. Now I know that. Alright. Alright. So, I had this thought process, chat, where I was like, what if I change one of my tiers that is in the physic, right? And basically my thought process was, you know, what if I were to put in my physic the tier where it kind of reduces or it basically provides you with damage mitigation, right? And you know, what would happen is I would wait until the moment where that attack is being used, right? The like giant massive laser attack. I would wait for that. And then what I would do is I would basically drink the flask and have the damage mitigation to where what's it called? To where, you know, I would be able to like not avoid damage, but like mitigate the amount of damage that it takes, you know, to survive. that attack, right? I think I somehow managed to save my life by drinking a flask there, which I definitely needed to drink that flask, but, it was really, really good timing, I would say. Ooh, man, what a really annoying attack that is. I want to look up this attack. It's very, very interesting. I want to see if there's like strategies that people have used on YouTube to like avoid that attack or maybe cheese it. So let me see here. I'm gonna do this, open up the map, and then I'm going to let me open up YouTube here. Wrong tab. Hold on. Do I not have YouTube open here? Did I close it? No, I opened it. There we go. Okay. First of all, why is the volume at max? Shut the hell up. Yeah, that's such a bad attack, man. Like I don't understand how in the world you're supposed to like dodge that without, you know, without any sort of like ability, right? So they basically just like dodged backwards. Okay. But they waited for a very, very specific moment. Yeah, I don't know. I really, these strategies that are being shown on the YouTube videos, I feel like they are not consistent, which is a big problem. All right, let's see here. Sound hanging bell. Shit, I thought I rolled that one. Let me get behind him. I don't know why I even tried that, honestly. Fuck. I thought I rolled that. Yep. Yep. Okay. If I did not die to that, or not die, if I did not get hit by that massive attack, that slam down, I think I would have survived completely fine without any, you know, issues. Ugh, that's such a disgusting attack. Alright. I have an idea. Let me see here. This is probably not a wonderful idea, but we can try it out just to see if it works. Because I think we're getting closer and closer to winning. We're getting closer and closer to finding the strategy. It's just very difficult. I think, like, so one of the tough things about Mimic Tier is that, with Mimic Tier, right, I don't know why, but for some reason Mimic Tier does not really have access to, you know, HP flasks, which I think that is quite stupid, right? I don't agree with that. But, yeah, it kind of is what it is, right? Let me see here. No, none of those are it, I don't think. Okay. I wonder if I like basically slap on some defensive buffs for him. Will that help at all? If I do like that, maybe. And then what if I change this one to that, perhaps? Let's try it. So let's see here. If I do this, I'm gonna bring on in good old Mimic Tier. Yeah, buddy. Okay. And I'm gonna drink this. Now, I'm going to do this. We're gonna do, back to my old setup. Gonna do... Wait, equipment. And... There it is. Alright. Now, here's to hoping that my Mimic Tier actually knows to use the weapon art. Oh, I hope my Mimic Tier is not stupid, chat. We'll figure this out. Ugh. Dude, that sideways attack is so fucking garbage. I really hate it. Because the only way that you can basically deal with that guaranteed is you have to, like, outspace it, right? You have to literally run as far as you possibly can away from that attack. I don't think that there's a, you know, possible way to roll that attack successfully, you know? Alright. So again, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before. Let me see here. And do that. And then we're going to do that. Perfect. And then, Blasphemous Blade. Where are you, my beloved? There you are. Okay. Summon in Mimic. Nice. Okay. Take away that. Take away that. Gonna be this one, and then it's gonna be that one for the juicy reward. And then there we go. Got my weapon. Perfect. Alright. Okay. Use the weapon art, Mimic. Come on, bud. There you go. I need to get behind this dude. Okay. That was almost an instant death right there. That was really, really, really close. Really? Piece of shit attack. Even just, like, summoning that attack. Really, dude, that fucking attack is so dog shit. I'm running low on HP blast, so this is not great. I hate you. Okay. Really, really unfortunate with that last attack there. Alright. Yeah, I think, like, the biggest problem is that for some reason my Mimic tier is not using Blasphemous Blade. And it's really painful, really annoying, you know? Alright, I have an idea. Let me see here. There he is. Hello, buddy. I see my runes. Okay. Yikes. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Well, chat, we tried that out. That didn't work. Okay. Okay. Stake of America. Let's see here. Yeah. I might need to potentially go back to the Grace. Yeah, I might need to. I'm gonna try one last potential idea here. Let's see if this idea works. Equipment. Let me take a look here. Do. I don't understand how this one's so high, but somehow it works. Right. Let me see here. Alright, let's try this out, chat. We'll give this a shot and see how it works. Alright. Summon. Beautiful. Rid of that. We're gonna do... There we go. I probably should have messed around with the talismans. That's on Mimic tier. But it should be okay. We should be able to survive. Wow, that still hit? I'm actually surprised that I didn't roll that on time. My poor Mimic. I will avenge my Mimic. Assuming I can survive long enough. Not seeming likely with the amount of damage this damn thing is doing. Yep. What an annoying attack. That attack right there, like the only purpose of that attack is to force the player to get away from the boss, which is really fucking annoying. I think that any attack which basically it restricts the movement options of the player, I think it's just really shitty. Because that to me, like, what you are essentially doing is you are making it to where the the player is not really able to be like creative, not able to be creative with the strategies, the attacks that are utilized, right? And it just, yeah, it makes it so incredibly I don't know. To me, that kind of just makes it unfun to play. It doesn't make it enjoyable in any manner whatsoever. Let's see here. Alright, Mimic. Bringing you in once more. This time you should be a little bit defensive, a little bit more tankier with the talismans, I hope. But we'll see how it goes. Let me change my weapon back. And then take that away, take that away. This was my kick ability, and this one was my runes, baby. What? Game, why are you lagging? I was literally pressing my weapon art like 20,000 times there, and it just was not doing anything. Ugh, what an annoying attack. Yeah, what I should have done there is after I got staggered, after I got hit by that first wave, I should have healed immediately. Instead of attempting to, like, spam roll through all of it. Okay. Let's see here. Sound hanging bell. You know what I should probably try doing, chat? I should probably see if the other weapon that I was using for my Mimic tier, if that is effective, for my own build, right? Let me see here. So we do that. Do that. Okay. Mimic Tear. Beautiful. And then, let's see here. Let's go with, get rid of that one. Perfect. Alright. Heal up. Drink the flask. Fuck, it's the laser attack. I thought it was the projectile. I thought I rolled through that, but I didn't. I can never seem to dodge that attack. Wait, he did that 2 times in a row. Holy moly. There you go. Ooh, okay. I completely, you know, I completely, you know, whenever I backed up, I saw the tiny little hands, right? The tiny little fingers on the ground. The kind of baby monsters, right? And I don't know what happened. I think, like, when I saw them, I was a little bit surprised that they were, like, so close to me. And so I think I panicked there. And I might have mistimed my dodge. Yeah, I think that might be what happened. I don't really know if there's a better explanation for that, you know? Okay. Alright, sound hanging bell. There we go. Unfortunately, a lot of these, like, swords, they look very similar to one another. So I always forget, you know, which one is which, right? Alright, chat. Let's try this build out. Let's try this strategy using the Great Katana rather than the martial arts. I think the main advantage of this is I do not have to be... Ooh, I didn't find a safe zone there. There we go, chat. Okay. There we go. Alright. So yeah, it turns out that the winning strategy there is basically you want to utilize a weapon that has decently long range rather than, you know, staying super up close with that boss, because that boss is yeah, very, very tricky to deal with. You know, first of all, you don't want to be... I think, actually, with that boss, there is a slight benefit to being a little bit far away from that boss, but at the same time, you know, being way too close to that boss is a little bit... Or not a little bit, it's very troublesome. It is very dangerous. And then I think that, you know, staying... kind of like mid-range in between super close and super far away, that also is quite dangerous because, you know, basically what will happen is I think that if you are mid-range, that boss will attempt to use attacks that do not allow you to get closer to it, right? So yeah, you basically want to use, if you're doing a melee kind of strategy, you want to use a weapon that is melee, right? That is sort of close range, but you want that weapon to have a little bit of reach, to have a little bit of length and distance to it. Because if you don't, and you use something like martial arts, which is like, martial arts, you literally have to be up close to their face, like literally, you know, kissing the boss, right? If you use martial arts, I think it's very, very tricky against this boss. Very tricky indeed. So yeah, I gotta be careful about that. That being said, I think we have maybe one more thing that we need to do here, chat. So let me teleport back over here. I believe that we are about to continue this quest line here. Let me see. Okay, we should be good to go. I actually do not remember if it happens here. Examine?
What have you done? You've wounded Count Emir most irreparably, such that he wishes for your death, and I must attend to the Count's concerns.
we go.
A fine mother you will be.
My shining star, grant me a mother's strength. Look here, at my fingers. I will be the true mother. And I will be the only mother.
How is this thing, that, like, hand, able to, like, dodge some of the attacks?
My dear child.
My god, that deals a lot of damage. Okay. Really? Wow. So, this weapon is really, really bad at dealing with the hand, right?
Forgive me.
There we go.
Truly, I desired to be your mother.
There we go, chat. Oof. What an annoying fight that was. Yeah, basically, the annoying thing about that boss is that he teleports, right? He basically tries his best to get away from you, you know? And I think that obviously him continuously summoning those hands is extremely troublesome, extremely annoying, right? Yeah, absolutely not a fun NPC, you know, fight that you have to do, right? Alright, well, the good news is we never have to go down there ever again. We can chill, we can relax. But yeah, okay. So, now, chat, it's so incredibly dark over here. You know what, let me get my trusty lantern out. Where is it? There we go. So, this NPC is actually pretty darn interesting. Because for those, you know, I can try to explain it, but if you've never played, like, Elden Ring, then you likely won't have any idea what I'm saying here. Basically, this NPC, her name is Yolan, and she serves Count Ymir, which is the NPC that we just now won against. Right now, she is sort of, like, defeated, right? That's currently, you know, her status. And, you have a conversation with her, and basically it seems as if she has lost her eyesight. She is no longer able to see, and you have the option to give her one of two different items. There's an item called the Iris of Grace, and then there's another item which is called the Iris of Occultation, right? And the first one, Iris of Grace, it will allow her to see again. She can, you know, sense the sights of grace, and she can, you know, sense light and warmth, right? And you will get her spirit ashes, right? So she will give you basically her soul, her spirit ash, right? And then what you can do is you can actually take that spirit ash and you can go to a specific location on the map and you can unlock this puppet, which I guess apparently this puppet was maybe, you know, her best friend, or maybe it was like her, possibly her biological sister or something like that. And once you unlock that puppet, it will combine with the spirit ashes, and you will get a spirit ash, which I actually have it here in my inventory. I can show you. It's, where is it? It is this one right here, Yolan and Anna, right? So it says here, spirits of 2 sword hands of night, one of them being possessed by Count Ymir's doll Anna, right? So basically it seems like Count Ymir had a puppet by the name of Anna, and it is possessing a sword hand of night, right? Together, Yolan's sword and Anna's claws are as bottomless black and penetrate the enemy's guard. Yolan and Anna were born in a cold, dark gaol, or the proper pronunciation for that word is jail, but I don't want to say jail because we already have a proper spelling for jail. Why would you, use the old English spelling for it, which is really stupid. So I'm going to call it gaol, where they were raised, deprived of light, to be sword hands of night. Thus were they cultivated to become the most terrifying masters of their blades, though the burden of the dead left their hearts frail and pliant, right? So you can, obtain these spirit ashes. You can unlock them by giving her the, Iris of Grace. If you don't, if you give her the Iris of Occultation instead, which is actually what we're going to be doing on this playthrough, you get her weapon. Her weapon is unlocked for you, which is really freaking cool. And I think that the abilities of the weapon, as far as I've seen for that sword, it is quite a powerful weapon and quite a badass weapon as well. For those of you who are not aware, right, I can actually take a look here and show you. There are just a vast amount of weapon types in Elden Ring, but I think my number one favorite, or I guess maybe now that the DLC has come out, maybe it's number 2, but one of my absolute favorite weapon types in this game is this one right here, the katana. Right, so you see here I have Nagakiba, I have Cold Nagakiba, Moonveil, Rivers of Blood, I have Starline Sword, Blood Great Katana, Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, Rakshasa's Great Katana, all these different katana weapons, they are basically one of my top favorite weapon types in the entire game. I think katanas are so badass, and I really like the gameplay style that they have. I like the uniqueness that they have, and they're just so strong and so valuable, right, in this game. So katanas are basically my number one favorite. I think other than katanas, the only other weapon that I really, really enjoy is I love using the martial arts combat, right? The dry leaf arts is what they're called, right? So I love these martial arts weapons a lot. Specifically this one right here, the blood footwork, or the Dane's blood footwork, I really, really love it. I think that the dry leaf arts, right, which is the sort of hand version of the martial arts, it is decently good, right? The problem is just that I feel as if the Ash of War on this one, which is called Palm Blast, I feel like it's very, in comparison to Dryleaf Whirlwind, it is very ineffective. And the reason why is because you can basically use the Ash of War by itself, right? Without doing anything else. You just press the button and you use the Ash of War. Or you can hold the button and charge the Ash of War. And then when you release the Ash of War and you hit the enemy with it, it, hits a bigger radius and it is more powerful, right? The big problem with Palm Blast is that a lot of the bosses in Elden Ring are very agile. They're very mobile, very rapid, And so they don't really give you a lot of time to unleash your weapon art. So if you have a weapon art that is powerful, but it takes a long time to charge up that weapon art, it is typically found to be quite ineffective, right? And I remember, in the past, I actually tested out trying to utilize the Palm Blast Ash of War, using the quick version of it against one of the bosses, and I felt like it did not really deal a significant chunk of damage. It felt very weak compared to if I had just used my normal, normal attack moves, right, where I'm punching and kicking the enemy, right? So yeah, like Palm Blast to me is not really something that I vibe with, but the Dryleaf Whirlwind and the Dane's Footwork, weapon is really, really, really powerful, and I love it. I would probably say that now that the DLC has come out, I view um, I view this weapon as my new number one favorite, and then katana weapons are my like second favorite. But it's very close, right? Like the difference between my number one favorite and my number two favorite is not a significant major difference, right? It's not like, oh, because katanas are number two, then they are significantly worse than the martial arts. That's not true. Not at all. Um, but yeah. So let's chat with Yolan here, see what she says.
Count Emir, the stars, the sky. I see them not.
Yeah, so basically she's saying that she lost her eyesight. She cannot see the sky and the stars and the things that Count Ymir really he like considered the stars in the sky and everything to be very profound, very very I guess just like meaningful and significant, and he viewed it almost as if it was like a religion of sorts, right? All right, so it says use Iris of Occultation. So this is going to basically kill off Yolan and give us her weapon. Whereas, if you choose the Iris of Grace as your option, she would still die. Like, Yolan still, basically perishes and fades away, but she gives you her Spirit Ashes instead. All right, let's see here. Use Iris of Occultation.
No light anywhere at all. This is the night I know. Our night.
Oof. That's painful. All right, pick up item. Sword of Night. I do believe we can take a look here and see. I do believe that weapon is a katana, if I am not mistaken. Let me see here. Yeah, katana. There we go. Very, very nice. Magic damage and physical damage. Scales off of dexterity, I see. I wonder if this weapon can be modified or if it, like, stays as is. I'm very curious. So let me see here. Let's go to... Yeah, let's go to the round table. We're gonna check on the new weapon that we got, right? This way. We get to now chat with the #1 best NPC in the entire game. I love this dude so much. Master Hugh is the GOAT.
Now, let's go smithing.
Dude, the voice actor for Master Hugh is a fucking legend. Absolute giga chad. Alright, let's see here. Sword of Night. Somber Smithing Stone. Okay, nice. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna max level this to +10. There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then, let's see here. Let's go to sell. I think there's some weapons here that I got without wanting to get, and I don't need them. Let's see here. Don't need that one. Do I want the Tooth Whip? I really don't care about this weapon, and I will never, ever, ever use this weapon. I guess I'll keep it for collection purposes, I suppose. Laws of Night. I do already have a copy of these in my inventory, but I suppose since they are unique, I won't sell them. Let me see here. Yeah, I think I can keep that staff. That staff should be fine. Okay. Alright. I think everything else we can keep it. And then let's go to Ash of War. Okay, interesting. So it looks like the Ash of War cannot be, like, modified in any way. Basically, what I was thinking is, like, you know, if you take a look at this weapon, for example, chat, this is called the Smith Script Great Hammer, right? You can see that it's called the Blood Smith Script Great Hammer. That is because whenever I, you know, basically modified this weapon, you know, I came to Master Hugh and I modified it. I changed the affinity of the weapon to be, you know, a bleed weapon, right? Rather than a regular standard weapon. And there are certain weapons in the game where you are able to do that. You're able to modify and kind of customize the Ash of War, and then you're able to change the affinity. However, other weapons in the game, you are not able to do the same thing, right? It's just not something that is possible, right? So it looks like the Sword of Night is one of those unique weapons where it has to stay the way that it is. You can't really change it, which kind of sucks because I would have loved to, you know, have that weapon, right? Let me see here if I can pull it up. I would have loved to have the Sword of Night and have it, you know, be a super duper bleed weapon where it has a, you know, ridiculously high amount of bleed damage, right? You see here at the very bottom of the screen, it says bleed buildup is 45. I wish that I could increase that number from 45 to like 100 or 110 or something like that. That would be really cool. But I think the reason why they probably did it this way is very likely because this weapon, you know, by itself, right? Using the normal attacks, using the Ash of War and whatever, very likely this weapon is extremely powerful, and so increasing the blood loss buildup would make it into more of a broken weapon that is overpowered and is like ridiculously, unreasonably unfair, right? So yeah, but one thing that I do want to do here, let me talk to Hugh. Let's see, let's go to Ash of War, and then we're gonna go to this one right here, Palm Blast. We will keep it as Palm Blast, and then I'm gonna do Cold. I think I'm gonna do Cold, and we'll see if that you know, improves it at all. So basically, if I wanted to upgrade that one, you know, let's see, Strength and Armament. So I'd upgrade this to, you know, plus 24, plus 25, whatever I want to do. And we'll see how powerful it is, right? Okay, so it's currently plus 24, and it's got 104 frost buildup. That's actually not too bad. That's not too terrible at all. Frost is quite a powerful, you know, tool to have at your disposal. Okay, very nice. All right, good stuff, chat. Good stuff indeed. Very cool. So let me do this. I'm going to rest at the table. And then, let's see. Go to Wondrous Physic. I guess we can do this one, maybe. That should be fine. Alright. Nice. Alrighty then. Chat, it is currently, wow, basically 7:30 p.m. in my local time zone right now. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier in this stream, today is a day that I normally stream on Twitch, so I'm actually going to be ending my stream on YouTube and hopping over to Twitch and doing a Twitch live stream. I think that's maybe going to be in about 1 hour from now, maybe 1.5 hours from now. Yeah, that's what I'll plan for, right? So I'm going to go ahead and conclude the first New Game Plus 8 DLC playthrough stream here, and then we can pick it up, you know, during a later time, right? We managed to kill, in total, 3 major bosses. It was the Dancing Lion, it was the stupid golden hippopotamus, and then it was the really, really annoying finger mother boss, the mother finger boss. I don't even know what is like a good way to call the boss except for like Matir or whatnot. But yeah. So we fought 3 bosses today. We killed 3 bosses. I think that, you know, if I were to take a look at the map here, let me see. We've got, let's take a look. We've got 1, 2. We've got 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's right. I think that's roughly correct. So I would say that we have a minimum of 7 major significant bosses left to fight in the DLC. There's a lot of, like, I think minor bosses or minor enemies that we could you know, go around and kill. But as for like the significant important bosses, especially the ones that drop remembrances, we have roughly about 7, maybe 8 of them left in the DLC to complete. Yeah, somewhere around that number. I would say anywhere between like 7 to 10 is my range that I would go for if I wanted to be on the safe side. And so, yeah, I think what I'll probably do is for the future live streams that I do on YouTube, I will basically put it to where, okay, we fight a minimum of 2 bosses per live stream, and we see how quickly we can go through the DLC, right? For those of you who, you know, don't really know that much about my, I guess, like, my normal daily and weekly schedule, I typically stream on Twitch every single week, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I think what I'm probably going to do is, I think that on those 3 days, every single week, I will stick to streaming on Twitch. And then, you know, like Monday through Thursday, I will, you know, be available, be open to stream on YouTube if I, you know, I'm feeling motivated, if I'm feeling energetic about it, right? Yeah, I think that's the game plan. I would say for, you know, at least the near future, right? For like, at the very least, the rest of December, you know, I have a good decent amount of free time just because it's like the holiday season and I don't have my you know, college classes that I'm currently taking. But once the month of January comes around, I will be returning and taking more college classes. So that is going to, you know, play a big role in my weekly schedule and whatnot. And so I think that the amount of YouTube live streams I do starting January of 2025 is not going to be as plentiful as what I'm capable of doing right now. But yeah. Also, for anyone out there who is potentially watching this live stream, I do want to kind of like let you guys know. So, first of all, I think I want to say up until December 23rd, which is basically 2 days before Christmas, you know, I have VODs of my first DLC playthrough releasing on YouTube once every like 2 days, right? A new VOD releases. And I wanted to let you guys know that, so December 23rd, there is I think the final VOD gets uploaded to YouTube and is publicly available for you guys to watch, right? And then fast forward December 27th, I believe. I have a video that I have scheduled to release on the 27th, and I wanted to let you guys know ahead of time, those of you who are willing to sit through and watch this live stream. Wanted to give you guys a very fair heads up. The video on the 27th that I'm uploading to my channel, it's more of a personal video that I think is helpful and beneficial for me, and it's basically me talking about a very important, serious topic that I think I've experienced it, and I feel like a bunch of other human beings in the world have experienced it. So I feel like it's something that is quite realistic and relatable. But it is a topic that is completely unrelated to playing video games and doing fun activities like pursuing your hobbies and your passions and your interests, right? It is more of I guess think of it as sort of like maybe possibly a deep philosophical video where I talk about a kind of important subject that I think is worthwhile to discuss and to share and to kind of just educate people on, right? And whatnot. So I have this kind of semi-serious video coming out on the 27th. I hope that it doesn't bring the mood down. It doesn't make people depressed or anything like that. But it's something that I felt like I wanted to record that video and I wanted to upload it because I view it as sort of a way to do self-therapy, where I kind of talk about something that has been on my mind and I talk about something that is important to me, and by talking about it I get it out of my system and I'm able to basically come to peace with the way that things are and find a way to walk past what happened and to just focus on the future and no longer think about what did happen long ago. So I have a video on the 27th coming out. Another thing that I will share with you guys is that I have these 2 video ideas that are in my head, right? And basically these video ideas are that there are these 2 different content creators that I follow, and I really enjoy both of these content creators. One of them, I view him as my personal #1 favorite Twitch streamer, and he is a variety streamer who lives in Japan, right? He is my #1 favorite Twitch streamer, and he played a video game that I am very familiar with, and that I think a lot of you out there who may be watching this are potentially also familiar with. That is Genshin Impact, right? He played Genshin for the very first time several months ago, and he did it for a sponsorship. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of make a video where I go through his gameplay footage and I sort of go in there and I analyze it and I talk about what he did well, what he didn't do well, and kind of provide my own insight, provide my own opinions, my thoughts, my ideas and whatnot, to the sort of sponsorship live stream that he did, right? So that is one video idea. And then very, very similarly, there's another video idea that I also have, which is that a different content creator, someone who I also very highly respect and admire, he played another game that I am very familiar with and I'm very knowledgeable of, and that is Elden Ring, right? He played a little tiny bit of Elden Ring. I think he played roughly about, I want to say about 8 hours. 8 hours of Elden Ring or something like that. Maybe it was 4 hours of Elden Ring or whatever. But he played a certain amount of Elden Ring, and he did it for the very first time. And then after he played the game a little bit, he stepped away from the game and he started focusing on other video games instead. But he tried out Elden Ring for the very first time, and I wanted to do the exact same thing where I kind of go through his gameplay footage and I talk about, okay, what did he do well, what did he not do well, and sort of like give my perspective, my thoughts on his gameplay, right? Um, I think the tough thing about those two video ideas that I have in my head is that I think those two videos are probably going to require quite a bit of editing to, you know, make it into a video that is worth sitting down and watching, you know? Because I actually, so I want to say maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I tried to record the video where I, you know, kind of analyzed and I provided commentary for the Genshin Impact sponsored stream that the content creator played. And I found that there was a lot of moments during my analysis, my sort of like rewatch of that stream. I found a lot of moments where I was kind of just silently watching and staring at the footage, and I wasn't saying anything because there was nothing worth saying, right? So I think what I might have to do is I might have to record a long video, right? Kind of providing analysis on the Genshin gameplay. And then after I record that long video, I very likely need to go in and edit that video. I need to shorten it. I need to condense it. I need to cut out a lot of parts of it that are not very interesting, right? But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tricky because I am not a video editor. I don't know how to properly edit videos. It's gonna be very amateur, very rudimentary, right? But I have these two ideas in my head. I just need to do the recordings and then I need to try and edit those videos if I possibly can. So I don't know if those videos will be done anytime soon. There's a chance that those videos will come out in like January or February of next year, right? But I do want to kind of just bring up and mention that those are some future YouTube projects that I'm thinking of, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. But yeah. In any case, like, besides those mentioned projects, I think the main thing that I'm gonna be doing with my YouTube channel is trying to just, like, you know, create content that I find to be interesting and I find to be fun, and then just posting it on YouTube and being like, okay, here you go, fuck it. If people want to watch it, people can watch it, and if they don't want to watch it, totally cool, right? It's my YouTube channel. I can do whatever content I want to do on my YouTube channel, and so very likely I'll be uploading things like Souls content. I might upload some like Genshin stuff and Wuthering Waves stuff here and there, maybe even some like Nikke stuff, for example. But I'm not like, right now, I think that I'm kind of doing, you know, YouTube and Twitch as like, I'm doing it as a hobby, as, you know, for fun and whenever I have free time. So it's not really like a primary focus for me. It's not a high priority. And I think that especially when it comes to dealing with college and taking college classes, that is going to be my you know, my main job. That's going to be like my main time sink, I guess, right? It's going to be the main thing that takes up a lot of my schedule. So yeah, but in any case, chat, yeah, I am going to say goodbye and farewell to you guys for the time being. And, you know, for anyone out there who's interested in watching Twitch channel stuff, you guys can feel free to hop on over to the Twitch channel and say hello to me in about, I want to say maybe like an hour from now, maybe an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today, chat. I will see you guys later, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Twitch or whatever. Yeah. All right. Peace out, guys. Bye. Let me grab my mascot here, and he'll say goodbye to you as well. Big fluffy dude. Look at him. He's so chunky. I love him. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Maybe you guys can check out the Twitch channel, or maybe you guys can stick to YouTube. Whatever you prefer. But I'll see you guys later. Yeah, maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see what my schedule entails. Cool. All right. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Bye bye. See you later. Bye. Let's see here. Boom. Definitely, totally not a scuffed ending to the stream. I heckin' love Streamlabs Desktop. What a garbage application it is. Lamau. Alright. Let's see here.